Welcome everyone. I'm going to address the question that was in the chat right away, just in case those that just hopped on didn't hear. And that question was, is this the same as the leaders link? And the answer to that is no. This is totally different. And your superstar director, whoever that may be, is super excited to welcome you. This is actually a very exclusive collaborative group that the SSDs that have been collaborating together for, gosh, I don't remember exactly when we started this, maybe March. We decided that we wanted to offer our leaders something very special and something very exclusive. And so this is going to be a monthly Zoom where we can get on. It's a much smaller group, and we can help connect you guys with other leaders from our groups, which, by the way, my name's Eileen Reeder. I didn't even introduce myself. But we wanted it to be a smaller collaborative group because we have really felt, I think all of us SSDs that have been working together, we have gotten so much from our little collaborative group that we wanted you guys to be able to have some of the same experiences. So tonight, we all know that we're coming into some big challenges with our business, right? We've got some products that are back ordered, or they're sold out, or whatever, or you may have some personal challenges in your life, and business is just like, it's going fast, fast, fast. And we wanted to come and offer something to you in the way of talking about overcoming obstacles, because we felt like that was a topic that was perfect for our timing right now in our business and what we're coming into. Many of the SSDs in our collaborative group we've experienced hypergrowth, and some of you may not have ever been through something like that, and so we want to be able to share with you some of our insights. I'll intro myself a little bit more because I will come back on a little bit later in the call. But for right now, just to set it up, we have a few SSDs who have worked through some personal and family challenges that we wanted to specifically have share. And the first one is going to be Aspen Calhoun. We're going to have her come on and share her story. And then we're going to hear from Karen Fettis and then Sarah Speechley, and we'll kind of go to that point in the call. So Aspen, I am going to turn it over to you. If you want to intro yourself, that'd be great.
Thank you, Eileen. So I'm really rethinking the idea that I would go first tonight. I don't get nervous for very many things, but when it comes to sharing personal stories or life stuff, that's what makes me nervous. I can talk all day about Scentsy and growing business, and you guys know I can literally talk all day. But when it comes to life stuff, that's what makes me nervous, because I'm not a transparent person. So I will try not to be emotional, because this is stuff, and Karen will shake her head and say, yes, we just don't talk about it, because as overcomers, we focus on other things. So, I mean, that's my gig. So I'll walk you guys kind of through just a few of the things life-wise, and maybe a little bit of my story over the last 12 years. Well, it'll be 12 years in December that I've been with Scentsy. And I'm just going to really kind of give you a long list of the excuses that I could have made and the reasons that I should have quit a million times. And then when I'm done with that, I will tell you why I didn't, and give you the reasons as to why I'm still here. So life started, okay, so I got married at 19, not because I was pregnant. That's what everyone thought, but I wasn't. I just really loved this guy. 22 years later, I still do. But we literally got married with nothing. I was just out of high school. We lived in the side of a garage that was built into an apartment, and that's where we began. My husband worked construction. I was somewhat of an entrepreneur. I did nails. I did anything I could. We moved a lot. We did a lot of crazy things in the beginning. We moved to Vegas on a whim, and I worked as a cocktail waitress for a while. I sold cars for a while at a Ford dealership. I have actually worked construction myself. I worked at McDonald's. I've worked at Sonic. I've done, if you can name the job, I've done it, because I'm not very good at working for other people. I've never been fired, but I quit a lot of things a lot of times. So if you can relate to that, that's probably why you're here with Scentsy. So that's where it started. And so moving through life, I always worked. I worked from the time I was 15 on. So when my husband said to me, hey, before we met, I was in the Marine Corps and now I'm going to rejoin. I said, sure, why not? And so he did. And so he went back in the Marine Corps and along I went. And we decided a few years later to have kids. And I will jump to when my Scentsy journey began. My kiddos were 2 and 4. My son was 4 and my daughter was 2. And we lived in California. And I decided to do this Scentsy thing purely because I met my sponsor in Wyoming, and when we lived there prior, and she wouldn't leave me alone about it. And I was currently with another direct sales company, and I just kept telling her, you know what, I'm going to try and do this other thing. Well, it didn't work, and I ended up joining. My son was diagnosed with autism at the age of 2. My husband can tell you better. He's the dates guy. Between 2 and 3. And so I started to navigate that as we went along and knew that I wanted to stay home with both of my kiddos. That itself becoming one of the huge obstacles of our lives. And I always hesitate on telling people about obstacles, because the one thing I never want is for somebody to go, "Aw," because that's not what it's about for us. When I say my obstacles, I tell you because I want you to look at us as a family or myself and say, oh, that's why they're so strong. That's why they continue moving forward. So my son is obviously still autistic. He's 16, just turned 16 a couple weeks ago on the 9th of September. And with him and my daughter, we moved my business a lot. So my business started in, Wyoming, then California. We moved my business to Colorado, to North Carolina, and now to Texas. So we decided to rebuild a lot. Part of that was military, and part of that is just crazy choices, because that's what we do. But in that, I learned to rebuild over and over again, and rebuild this business over and over again. And so anyone that says there aren't enough people, or this place doesn't work for me, or I can stand in my front yard and see 6 other consultants' houses, it's not an excuse any longer, because I've seen it and I've been there and I've done it and I've rebuilt it over and over again, while having a special needs child in tow and a military husband who was forced to early retirement unexpectedly and had some life shifts of his own. Took him about 3 years to finally figure out where he wanted to land and settle. Lots of job decisions and lots of choices, but we are happily in Texas now. And so along with my son's autism, I was about 3 years into the business when he had his first massive seizure and is also diagnosed with epilepsy. And so another very, very scary thing that could completely 100% consume us, but we didn't allow it. And so he still has seizures, is on medication to this day, and was most recently, since we wanted to add one more thing in the mix, diagnosed with juvenile rheumatoid arthritis in his joints. And so now we're navigating that. Along with that, because it's not quite enough, my daughter is very, very active in sports. So she plays select soccer, for any of those of you guys that have sports kiddos. We do soccer practice twice a week. We do also school sports. So we do cross country. We drop at 6:30 in the morning for practices. We're at soccer practice for 3 hours. We drive one way to practice for her and one way home, 2 hours at practice twice a week. So that's, what is that? I shouldn't probably even count up the hours we spend at soccer. 2 to 3 games a weekend. My son does horse therapy once a week in the evenings. We also do Special Olympics when that's going on. And so we have a very, very busy life, along with doctors and pediatric rheumatologists and pediatric neurologists and all the people and all the things, along with IEPs and speech therapists and occupational therapists, and dealing with school and making sure I get the high school now to do exactly what I want them to do for him, because I'm very, very involved in everything that he does, making sure that things are the way they're supposed to be. My husband works at home now, which is something that's brand new because thankful to COVID, his job transferred him to home, so he's still here. But all of that to say that nothing slowed us down. You know, I mean, I'll never say, I want to see how much time I'm taking up here, you guys. I'm sorry. I want to say, along the way, are there days when I sit down and just feel broken? Absolutely, you guys, because life can be a lot. One of the things that I heard at Reunion, and you guys can tell me what year Brene Brown spoke, and I think it was in Las Vegas, so I don't remember what year though. She said something that has stuck with me to this day, and she said, you know what? Everybody has a story, and a lot of people have a story that'll bring you to your knees. But the difference in some people and others is that some move forward and some don't. So no matter what happens in our lives, no matter how many times we move and how many times we rebuild, and I was married young, I mean, the odds are stacked against, right? Against most of us. But you got to make a choice to use those as your excuses or not. And I'll wrap up in saying that what I do now, when I hustle, when I work, when I'm on here tonight, and even though I maybe don't feel like it or whatever we're doing every single day, it's because I have to build a life for my family, because I know that I'm going to have to take care of my son for the rest of his life. Like, that's just the hard freaking fact of it. And do I want to cry about it? Some days, absolutely, I do. But will that do me any good? No. But you know what will? Is working harder. It's going to be leading other people to be leaders and help them get over the obstacles that they have. Because if we can do that, that's where I can make a difference, and that's where you can make a difference. It's when 10 years from now, my daughter looks back and says, you know what, I want to do what my mom does, because she changes lives, because she makes a difference in lives. Not because she sat down and cried. Not that she hasn't seen me do that. It's not very often though. But those are the obstacles that I've overcome. And I know there's going to be more, but I can tell you something else. No matter what life throws at us, you are equipped and you are ready. And as long as you have a circle, you are capable. So with that, I will pass to one of my favorite circle members, Karen.
Thank you. Hey, I'm Karen Fettis, for those of you who don't know me. And isn't Aspen amazing? I've had the privilege of knowing Aspen since, oh my goodness, I don't know, 2009. Yeah, 2009. Yeah. We lived in the same area in Southern California. And one thing that I would add as far as an obstacle that we hear a lot is there's too many people in my area that's South. And when I moved to Southern California, she lived on the same military base I did. And there were a lot of consultants, and there was also a lot of brokenness in the community over Sensi. And she and I decided that we were better together. And we banded arms, and we started group meetings that we opened up to everyone, regardless of who you belong to. And things like that really can shift a culture. So Aspen's really instrumental in culture building pretty much everywhere she goes. So as I said, I'm Karen Fettis. I joined in 2008 also, November 2008. So almost 12 years. And I signed up under someone I didn't know, a random stranger, who was angry with me that I joined because she was going to lose out on the commission from that party. So she didn't understand, I don't think, what you could earn off of a superstar director, and dropped off as due to inactivity. I was her first and only recruit. I was a superstar director when she quit. So a little bit of lost earning potential there. But I joined while my husband was deployed in Iraq, and I had three small kids at home, and so I understand what it's like to build a business as with challenges around you. I was kind of single mom in it, even because he was in a combat zone. I too have moved multiple times in our business. I moved from North Carolina, where I started in 2000. I moved in 2009 from North Carolina to Southern California. And then in 2012, I moved to South Carolina. And then in 2017, I moved to Texas. And then in 2019, the fall of, we decided we would travel for 6 months and ended up in Southern California, or in South Carolina, where we still are right now. So we have had lots of moves in our business as well. I think one of the big obstacles, and I hate to use the word obstacle too, for the same reasons that Aspen does, would be my son Luke's health. And if you don't know Luke's story, he was diagnosed in 2012, the day after reunion in Vegas, with a brain tumor. And it was inoperable at the time. My husband was getting ready to retire and from the military, and he was a Marine. And since 2016, he's had 17 brain surgeries, 3 in the last 4 months. And we've spent a lot of time traveling for medical care. Very blessed that we could travel for medical care to get him what he needed, where he needed it. When they said you should go to Johns Hopkins in Baltimore, okay, we could do that because of Sensi. In 2012, my husband retired from the Marine Corps and decided to work full-time with me. That presents some obstacles too, when you've had a deployed husband for many years, off and on, and suddenly you work together 24/7, but it's really been a huge blessing. Along with his health, I mean, we spend more time in hospitals and hotels than you could count. And it's why we moved in 2017 to Houston, to be closer to a neurosurgeon there. But we've spent hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of nights in hotels and hospitals. In 2017, we spent over 180 nights in hotels and hospitals. And they weren't anywhere near our home. They were 16 and a half hours from our home. So I've had to work my business in some really unique situations. Also in 2016 and 2017, kind of in the height of all the chaos with his health, we had 2 major hurricanes, and they caused massive damage to both of the communities we lived in South Carolina. And then we moved to Houston. We got our final belongings a week of Hurricane Harvey and didn't realize that we were in a flood zone until I opened the email that said evacuate now and could see the water rising across the street, the neighbor's yard. So we've dealt with that kind of issue as well. We've also had major transitions and have kids that have grown up, kids in college, kids in grad school, husband retiring, working together full-time, all those things, which are fantastic blessings, but they are life transitions. Currently, everything we own is in storage in Texas, other than my office that my husband built while we're here. And on top of it all, I'm a homeschooling mom, not just because the rest of the world is this year, but a year ago we decided to homeschool my son, so that because he was medically homebound for so many years, and it was much easier to homeschool him. So I have a 14-year-old that I homeschool. I have a daughter home from college. And just, it's a little chaotic at times, but again, a huge blessing. When I think about some of the things that we've gone through, I've learned that we can run our business from anywhere. In August, we left for a medical appointment that I knew would probably end up with my son needing more brain surgery, but I didn't quite think it would be within a couple hours. And from that appointment, from that drive to Charleston, South Carolina, that we basically took a carry-on bag with us. He had brain surgery and was admitted to ICU for 2 weeks. So it was about 17 days actually before I ended up back at home. And so I've learned that you can work with very little. And no matter what your circumstances are, you can find a way to work your business. You can work no matter what life throws at you. The thing is, we all have life that happens to us. I mean, when I look at the top leaders in this company, there are very few that I personally can identify a major life issue or challenge that they have. Almost everyone has at least one. And they all still work their business and work their business successfully. It's not what happens to you that matters. It's what you do and how you view it. It's your perspective and your resilience that really makes all the difference in the world. Life does happen to everyone. I mean, are you going to sit back and you're going to use it as an excuse? Because you can. It's a great excuse. Or are you going to use it as a reason you need to move forward? It's not what you do with it. It's how you react to it. So there is a blessing in every situation. And I've honestly never sat back and thought and felt sorry for myself. Oh, how could this happen to us? I mean, I've been mad sometimes, like, I really wasn't planning to spend 2 weeks in ICU, in the COVID side of ICU, with a child that was high risk who didn't have COVID. So that was a challenge. And I've been angry. You know, there have been tears, don't get me wrong. But I've never said, God, why me? Because you know what? There's a reason, and I can work through it. It's all about perspective and resilience. If you want it, you're going to work for it. You might have to get creative. You might have to work in circumstances that aren't what you'd hope they'd be. You might have to work without some of the things that you think you need that you really don't. You might have to get up earlier or go to bed later or work from the car or work from a doctor's office or whatever, but you can work your business no matter what. That's why this business is such a blessing. So I would say success requires you to show up. It requires you to get really comfortable being uncomfortable. And it requires a lot of grit. You know, if I can say the word for the year for 2020 really should be resilience. You know, perspective and resilience is really where it's at. So that's a little bit about my story. I really do believe that this business can bless everyone if you choose to let it. So I'm going to pass it to Sarah now. Sarah has also had some massive obstacles in her life, and she is a incredible example of working through them.
Thanks, Karen. Yes, Karen and Aspen are both amazing, and I'm lucky to be able to work with them. They're wonderful, and the great thing is working together truly does help your business. Find someone that you can connect with, and find someone who has the strengths and weaknesses, or their strengths or your weaknesses, and it can help balance things out. So as she said, my name is Sarah Speechley. I actually started Scentsy over 15 years ago. So I've been in the business for a while. I loved the business. I started originally just to make a little extra income. I had a daughter. I had a very difficult pregnancy with my second child, and she had a lot of health issues when she was born. She was really premature, had a health issues, so I wanted to make a little extra income. So I thought I'd start selling Scentsy just to make a little. My family never supported me. In fact, they told me it was silly and I should quit and it was a waste of time. My husband told me more than once that I should quit, which he's really glad that I didn't listen to him. So I didn't have the support from family from the beginning, but I continued to work my business. I continued to not let that get me down. So I was doing well, working my business. I was expecting my third child and had some more health issues. I was put flat on bed rest for 6 months. Couldn't get out of bed. They said if I got out of bed, they'd put me back in the hospital. And with my second child, I was in the hospital for 7 weeks. So I did not want to do that again. So I had to adjust my business. I like doing parties, fairs, shows, and events. I couldn't do that on bed rest. So I just had to adjust my business. That is the blessing, like Karen said with Scentsy, is you can work this business around your life situations. We all may have different challenges, mental, physical, children that are sick, parents that are sick, deaths, whatever it is. We all have something that we struggle with. And overcoming that is your biggest strength. And that is the biggest strength that I think all of us have, is overcoming those challenges. So after I had my child, I, was able to get back up doing shows and events again. And then it's been about 10, almost 11 years ago, I was struck with a major health issues. I couldn't walk. I couldn't sit up without being in excruciating pain. I couldn't stand. I was in a lot of pain. I was flat in bed again, and I was frustrated, but I did not let it get me down. I did not let it stop me from working my business. I again found different ways to work my business. Scentsy is a blessing. It helped me get through some tough times because I could still work, whether it was on the computer, laying in bed, which I still do a lot. You can work this business around your lifestyle. Whatever you're going through, whatever it is, whether it's busy, working, homeschooling, whatever you're going through, you can work this business around you. So yes, I have health issues now, done years and years of treatments, doing a little better. I can walk and stand a little bit. I still have to use a scooter. I still can't stand long. I still have many, many days that I'm just in bed in pain. I have setbacks with my health often, had one just a few weeks ago. It's just my life, but I don't let it stop me. And I think that is a huge strength, is when something comes your way that you weren't expecting, or a challenge or obstacle. Don't let that obstacle define you. You define them. And I think that's the biggest thing, is whatever it is, whether it's not a supportive family, whether it's health issues, figure out how you can overcome that. Because guess what? I still have my health issues. I can't get rid of it, but I can overcome and change my way of thinking and work my business a different way. And that's what I've had to do. I know we're short on time, so I didn't want to go into too much depth, but that's I've had struggles. There are a lot of times pain is huge. I can sit up better, longer, so I can do more now, but work your business. Be consistent, continually grow and find ways that work for you. Don't compare yourself to others, I think, is another thing, because you don't know what their struggles or obstacles are. Again, we all have strengths and weaknesses, and that is one of the huge blessings of finding people to work with. So with that, hopefully I kept us in time. I wanted to take it back to Eileen, because she's going to talk more about collaborating and working with others to help you with your business.
Thanks, Sarah. First of all, I just want to say what amazing company we're in. Like, if that is not inspiring, I don't know what is. You have some superstar directors here who gone through so much and yet come out on the other side victorious, right? And so I think all of our hope is that you will take these stories and say, you know what, if she can do that, I can do this, right? We all know that your story is not going to be the same as Karen's or Sarah's or Aspen's, but you will have challenges, right? We all have challenges, and it's how you work through those and how you adjust to those that will make you victorious on the other side. And that's what we all want for you. So my name's Eileen Reeder. I joined Scentsy in October of 2004. So I am one of the very early consultants. I have not had health challenges. I have not had, children with health challenges. I did move my business one time in the very beginning, and had to start a full-time job and work my business. And so I had to make it work that way. But you know what? It's interesting looking back how much stronger my business became because I had to do that. But for a really long time, I felt very alone in Scentsy. My husband and I have worked the business together. since 2009. So for quite a while, it's just been him and I. And even though I work with my husband, I didn't really have a group that I collaborated with. I didn't have other superstar directors that, you know, I could call and I could just, you know, say, what are you doing in your business? And I have to give a shout out to Karen, because she kind of started, and she probably doesn't even realize this. But it took her invitation. Sorry, I didn't want to get emotional. I'm an emotional person. She gave me an invitation, and it took me out of my comfort zone. And I was so grateful for that opportunity that she gave me. And I enjoyed it so much that the next time there was an opportunity to get on a collaborative type call, I thought, that's what I want. I want to have a group of like-minded individuals that I can work with. And it's not that my husband and I don't work well together, we really do, but sometimes that relationship is too close and you need other people that will push you and make you step outside of that comfort zone that you have, right? Because my husband lets me stay inside my comfort zone, and that doesn't help us grow our business. And so the next time there was, it literally was just a post on Facebook. I think it was Hannah Hall. You guys correct me if I'm wrong. But Hannah was like, hey, I'm just opening it up. I'm just wanting to, you know, collaborate with some other superstar directors. And there were a handful of us that got on. And it literally was just one call that turned into another call, that turned into another call, that just has become this amazing group of like-minded individuals that work really, really well together. And I think as an SSD collaboration group, I don't even know what to call us really, but I think we wanted that same connection for our leaders. And we know sometimes you get tired of hearing it from us, but if you hear it from somebody else that you've never heard of before, or maybe you have heard, you know, maybe you're under Karen and you've heard of Sarah Speechley, or you've heard of Aspen Calhoun, or you've heard of Andrea Connolly, or whoever, Hannah Hall, that you might hear something said in a way that will help open your mind to the possibilities, or help inspire you to want to take that step outside your comfort zone. And so we're really hoping that these hotspot Zooms are going to allow you guys to collaborate together and find that synergy. And the synergy is you're better together than you are alone. That's really how I feel about our group. And that's what we want to try and help create for you, is a safe place where you can inspire one another. Other SSDs, if you want to hop on and talk about how you feel about our collaboration group or what you're hoping from this, I would, you know, love to have you guys jump in. I don't want to take the whole spotlight on this collaboration thing, but I know my business is so much more than it was just 6 short months ago. And it's because of this collaboration that I have with these other amazing leaders.
I think, oh, go ahead, sorry.
I was just going to say, I'm Tracy DeMario, which I guess you can see my name, so in case I haven't met some of you guys. But I was just going to say, for me, being a part and doing this on a regular basis, it's kind of like how people typically, you know, go to the office and they have their coworkers and they got the people next door in the cubicle next door. And sometimes some of us, you know, we're at home and it's just so easy to have distractions and, you know, other things that we could be doing, or maybe we want to be doing sometimes, but because we have our little collab group or our coworkers, so to speak, you know, it holds us accountable. So we actually show up if, you know what, we need to show up and get on and see what's going on and work our business versus all those other things that can sometimes pull us away. So I found that to be really helpful. And so we're hoping through the future, sorry about that. I'm in my kitchen and just cooking. So by doing this, you know, in the future, you guys coming on, you guys can also make some connections. And this is something that you guys can see value and how it can help your business. So that's what, you know, one of the things we're really hoping is going to come from this. So I'm going to mute back, but I just wanted to jump in and say that.
Thanks, Tracy.
I was going to say, I mean, as far as collaboration goes, it's funny because no matter how long you're with Scentsy, I mean, some of you guys probably have been around for a while and some of you not so much. I think you look at when it comes to obstacles and you think, oh, she's got it all together. You know, like everything looks great. Like she's killing it. She's earning trips. She's selling. She's doing all the things. And then you hear somebody's story and you think, oh, she's doing that too. You know, I mean, and maybe one of the leaders that spoke tonight, you looked and you thought those things, but when you hear a story, it maybe sets you back just a little bit. And I think because of each other and collaboration, we are so much stronger. And I will say, like, I mean, I've gone for years feeling like I'm working this business alone. And a lot of you probably feel the same way, that you're trying to kill it all alone. So don't be afraid to reach out to somebody, you know, don't be afraid to even get on that director page or someone in your sideline, upline, downline, and say, hey, let's link up, let's chat. Even if a lot of times you guys will be on a Zoom and none of us are talking and somebody will just say something out of the blue, or it's like we're in the same room, but we're not. And none of us are connected at all when it comes to downline or upline. So we don't even have to like each other. We just do. So don't let things stop you. Don't let, oh, I'm shy. If you think about reaching out to someone and the first thing that pops in your head, I can tell you right now, it's an excuse. So just stop it, because I can tell you there's so much more value. Yeah, so you don't have to feel like you're alone, you guys. You really don't. Look at all these faces. There are literally hundreds of thousands of consultants. And I've said this before it was at a reunion somewhere. If you leave Leadership Link, or if you leave these collaboration Zooms and still feel alone, it's your fault. And I know that sounds really mean, but you guys got to open up and you've got to reach out. And like Eileen said, I'm so thankful that Hannah reached out that day, but it wasn't even just to me. She just threw it out there. Hey, who wants to collaborate? Who wants to connect? And some of us did, and some of us stuck, and some of us didn't. So I hope that you don't think I'm a jerk by saying that, but you got to step up and you got to quit making excuses, because life is so much better together.
I would add, as far as the collaboration, I think there's so much value in the idea sharing, but it's also the asking for help. Like, we may be at the top of the company, but like Aspen said, that doesn't mean we have all the answers or have it all together, because we don't. And I can't count how many times a day someone asks another one on this page, can you help me with this? How do I do this? I'm not sure how to answer this question. Or this is technology I don't understand. And I have yet to see a time where someone didn't step up to offer help in a situation like that. So the collaboration is so important. And like Aspen said, I mean, I think we are, like she said, none of us are connected. So no one makes money off of the other people, right? It's not just that we don't have to like each other. I mean, we do like each other most of the time, right? But we don't. It's so much bigger than that. And that's, I think, such a blessing with our company. We are not competition with each other. There is plenty of room to help and grow. I don't care how many people, I mean, Aspen, how many consultants do you think there were in Southern California where we lived at that time?
I mean, I was being dead serious when I said I could literally stand in my front yard and see the houses of 6 other consultants. And two of them were also directors.
Yeah.
So, I mean, there's never too many. There really isn't.
No. It's what you do with it. So that's all I got.
So I think we're ready to wrap up this call. I wanted to just reiterate, because I wrote it down, Karen, what you said about perspective and resilience. Okay, and that's what this is going to come down to in the next few months. We will be doing, this is a monthly Zoom that we're going to be offering you guys. And so I'll just shout out the dates here. October 19th is going to be our next Director Hotspot Zoom. That's what we're calling this, Director Hotspot Zoom. October 19th, put that on your calendars. And right now the topic is pivotal moments in your journey. And then we also have another one scheduled on November 16th. And right now the topic is why be debt free. Now we reserve the right to change those topics if we feel like there is something that's pressing that we might need to talk about. But right now, just at least save the date on your calendar, save the time, October 19th and November 16th. We are so grateful for you guys and as our leaders. And we want to make sure that we are trying to offer you something that is really of great value. And we felt like this would be of great value to you. So we hope that you're able to join us each of those times, and that we will start to build something really amazing together. So thank you so much. Love you all.